Sup? Eventually, once everyone had gathered around the table, a cheerful shall eat from Sachi marked the beginning of the meal. It wasn't like they bought into Amani's stance on raising your blood sugar level slowly, but for some reason everyone started off by reaching for the salad. And as they began to eat, Yumiko looked around the table and cleared her throat.
食べながらでいいから、今後の各自の実動割を確認しておきましょう。まずはイリスさんね。チャートは持った？
さっきユミちゃんがプリントしてくれたやつな。ちゃんと持ってんのよ。本日午前8時作戦行動開始。自転車のリアカーに狙撃機材を乗せて自走にて狙撃地点へ移動。狙撃地点であるホテルザ・ウィッツモールトンへ向かい、到着後に機材を室内に搬入、設置。すべての準備が終わったら、自転車からリアカーを外して、身軽な状態で狙撃着弾点及び周辺環境の調査を実施、狙撃の準備を進める。17時までにはホテルに戻り指示を待つ。そんな感じ？
そういうこと。ホテルの部屋は51階のスイートをもうネットで予約してあるわ。あなたのお母様の名前で。
なんでお母さんの名前にした？
面倒なことの後始末は全部あなたのお母様になすりつけてしまおうかと思って。ほら、あなたのお母様。今は何かとスキャンダルに敏感だし、現場に色々な証拠が残っていても、イリスの名前が表に出ることを嫌えば、勝手に裏からもみ消してくれるかなって。ついでに関係各省からの色々な追及とか、追加で請求されるであろう莫大な賠償金も、全部あなたのお母様にドバッと引っかぶっていただこうかと。
やるな、ユミちゃん。俺、お前のそういうねちっこくて陰湿なやり口、嫌いじゃねえのよ。いいぞ。
陰湿云々のくだりは引っかかるけれど、まあいいわ。次は小峰さん。
はい。
強襲突撃要員である小峰さんは、まずは突撃装具の点検。補充不足があれば追加を用意。荷物が多くなるようであれば、エゾシマリス作戦で対応すること。
わかりました。後ほどホームセンターでプラスチックコンテナと物資を購入しておきます。
それが終わったら、事前に現場を入念に下見しておいて。おそらくは想定外の事態も起きると思うから、刻々と変化する状況に即時対応可能な体制のまま、指定場所で18時まで待機。
了解です。
スオーさんと松島さんは、まずはタナトスさんが用意してくれた逃走用車両の受け取りに行ってきて。場所は分かってる？
板橋のショッピングセンターの立体駐車場5階の12番に置いてあるんだよね。場所は地図で確認してあるよ。
ねえ、やっぱ私、どうしても車に乗らなきゃダメ。なんかもうすっかりトラウマで、車に乗れって言われただけで膝がガクガクするし、ドロッとした汗が全身からダラダラ吹き出してくるんだけど。
大丈夫だって。ほら、この前だってちゃんと安全運転してたじゃん。ミラー畳んだまま走ってるおばちゃん車よりずっと安全だってば。
それに松島さんには、タナトスさんが偽の申請書を発行して手配した風見雄二の個人装備を3桁ナンバーの工作員から受け取る仕事があるのよ。
それって私じゃないとダメな仕事？
そうね。なぜだか知らないけど、対面交渉的な顔を合わせての取引ってなると、あなたにやっぱりパッと見のバカっぽい顔の印象と、会話を始めて10秒でわかる気の毒なほどのアホっぷりが交渉相手の心にゆとりを生むのかしら。
ひどい言われよ。
まあとにかく車と風見くんの装備を受け取ったら、その後2人は合流して18時の作戦開始まで指定の場所で車内待機。
わかったわよ。
ま まあ大体のことはチャートに書いてあるから、その通りに行動すればきっとうまくいくわ。
それでぼっちさんは？
ぼっち言うな。私はこの船に残って作戦の総指揮をします。作戦の進行状況はタナトスシステムを経由してほぼリアルタイムで観測可能だし、状況に応じて逐一私から指示が出るから、タナトスフォンの電源は切らないように。もし私との通信が途絶するような事態になったとしても、ここへは戻ってこないこと。今日この後午前8時の作戦開始と同時にこの船は移動を開始します。ここへ来ても私も船も存在しないので、そのつもりで。
船の操縦はどうするの？
タナトスさんが操縦してくれるわ。そのための衛星ナビシステムなんだし。私はこの船で指揮を出しつつ移動して所定の場所で待機。風見くんを奪還したあなたたちと合流して回収。あとはそのまま水上を逃走って形になるわ。
わかった。みんなも自分のやることはわかった？
はーい。あまねえ、ご飯おかわりちょうだい。お茶碗半分で。
あんや、こんぐらい？
あんが
まきちゃん、おじゃこあるよ、おじゃこ。
た。いいな。私もそれ欲しい。ご飯おかわり。あと生卵も。
本当に分かってるのかしら。
榊さんは？だからご飯のおかわり。真っ白いご飯におじゃこさん、おいしいおすえ。
いただきます。
おっと、タナトスさんかな。
おはようございます。タナトスです。
おはよう、チャーリー。
誰がチャーリーよ。
あれ？ジムの方？フェルペス君？
それを言うならフェルプスでしょ。まあいいわ。和やかな朝食中に失礼かとも思ったのだけれど、榊由美子が大切なことを伝え忘れているようだから、あえてインタラプトさせてもらいます。
そっか。
これからの作戦行動は各自別行動となります。各実動においては電話で通信を行うわけですが、それに伴い各自のコールサインを決めてください。
コールサイン？
要は限定された範囲でのみ通用する別名のことよ。
でもタナトスフォンなら通信は傍受されないんじゃないの？
その通り。でも電話を使用するときは喋るでしょ。声に出す以上はどこで誰に聞かれるかわからないし、うかつにも音声をマイクで拾われてしまえば筒抜けです。というわけで本日午前8時の作戦開始と同時に各自は決められた呼び出し名称を使うこと。
ほほう。コールサインというと、マーベリックとかグースとか、そんな
名前の付け方に特別なルールはないけれど、フォネティックコードと誤認しやすい名前は避けること。各自が当人を認識しやすい名前にしておくといいわ。あまり突飛な名前をつけると、これ誰だっけってなるから。
ほんま、わかりやすい名前か。ほんじゃ、チルチルはうざツンデレか？
ちょっと、何よそれ。長くて呼びにくいじゃないのよ。つか、私うざくないし。
じゃあ、短くしてうざデリ？いやいや、さらに短く UT とするのはどうか。
DT。
私が UT なら、あんたは福田抜きね。たぬき顔だし、なんかおめでたい顔してるし。
福田の木か。まあいい。確かに私は福田の木。そのおめえ、甘んじて受け入れよう。
それじゃあ、私はクソメイドということで。
お、自虐かサッチン。
メイド道とは死ぬまで続く修行の道。何年経とうが永遠に未熟者という自戒を忘れないためだよ。
まあ、本人がそれでいいって言うならいいけどさ。
う 私は
マネーはビッチでいいんじゃね？そのまんまだし、これ以上わかりやすいのはねえのよ。
待って、その流れでいくと私は
ローナ
ぼっち
やっぱり予想通りすぎてヘドが出そう。
でもさ、ビッチとボッチって電話で聞き取るとき紛らわしくない？
では、無駄ビッチとエバーボッチでどうでしょう？
エヴァーはいいや。お願いだからエヴァーはやめて。
面倒だから、やっぱビッチとぼっちでいいじゃん。美浜ビッチぼっちって言うと、なんか若手のお笑いコンビみたいでイカすのよさ。
まあ、私はどっちでもいいけどさ。
At this stage, life and death are a matter of chance. Alright, Professor. When we pray to the heaven for survival, we leave ourselves in the hands of fate. I chose instead to empty my mind and charge toward my end. A chosen death, not a fate one. Shall I fall in pursuit of the noble purpose? I shall perish without regrets. It is Makina. As the fate hour of 8 a.m. drew near, the public reader of Makina's traditional death poems concluded Sachi proceeded to push Yumiko up onto the wooden box that serves as their platform.
マイクテス。それでは、間もなく作戦開始時間となりますが、各員出陣の前に、基地司令たる榊参謀司令長官のありがたいお言葉を賜りたく存じます。では、どうぞ。
いや、急にそんなことを言われても。
聞くだけでみるみる繊維が高揚する魔法のお言葉をお願いします。
Yumiko was severely tempted to explain the magic of that sort of general referred to as brainwashing. But as she looked up at the faces of her comrades, she realized that this might be her final chance to express her gratitude to them. As that thought began to sink in, she could feel her hand growing sweaty on the handle of the megaphone Sachi had given her.
ただいまご紹介に預かりました榊由美子です。ここにお集まりの皆様は容易ならざる困難に対し座して待つことを良しとしなかった方たちです。そのことに関して皆様には感謝の言葉もございません。
Yes, Yumiko-chan, you are the best girl, my favorite girl of all time.
果たして私たちの進む先に巧妙があるとも断じきれない中、己が可能性を信じて立ち上がった皆さんの勇気に微力なれども良い結果を残したいと私は考えております。はっきりと申しましょう。私たちの進む道は戦場につながっています。賛美を極め多くの困難が待ち受けるであろう戦場でこの私に一体何ができるのかとことここに至り、私は一人の指揮官として各員の熱意をあたら無駄に散らせることなく自分たちの行いに大義を見出さんとするよう努力する所存であります。やがては完遂されるであろう大義に燃える皆さんに少しでも明るい道先を示すのが私の仕事であり、人生を圧し犠牲を顧みぬ戦場へ皆さんを送り込んだ私の責務であります。どうか今一度志を共に私にお力をお貸しください。
Drawing her remarks to a conclusion, Yumiko bowed her head to her audience. It had sounded a bit like an electric speed by the end there, but it's off the curve performance when she wanted to believe she'd done a fairly good job.
ねえ、なんか難しい言葉ばっかりでよくわかんなかったんだけど、結局何が言いたいの？
Don't die.
要はこれからますますひどいことになるし、下手すりゃ死んじまうかもしれないけど、ここに集まったからにはおめえらの自己責任だから、作戦や指揮に問題があっても文句言うなよってこと。
Well said, Makina.
違う。
どの国の軍にあっても召喚の口にする訓示とはそういうものです。
まあ身内に明確な矛先があった方が組織は動かしやすいって言うしね。
わかったわよ。そう そうやって私をいじめておけばいいじゃない。
No matter how small your organization might be, you always needed someone for everyone else to resent. She figured that much out by now. Eventually, the clock struck 8 and the time for fun and games had officially come to a close. After exchanging a ceremonial drink of water, the amount warm quarks departed for their various posts.
みんな、最後のお弁当を詰めたから、一人一つずつ持ってって。
いやー、弁当最高。おかずは
マキナのリクエスト通り、海苔巻きとサイダーだよ。
なんか組み合わせおかしくない？なんで海苔巻きとサイダーなの？海軍の航空糧食といえば海苔巻きとサイダーなのよ。
Many years ago, fighter pilots apparently ate norimaki for most of their in-flight meals, since the combat roles were easy to hold with a single glove hand. Also, battleships typically had quite a few carbon dioxide fire extinguishers lying around, so a simple cider easily made from sugar and CO2 was a popular beverage among naval personnel. World War II era planes lacked sophisticated radar equipment, much less convenient GPS navigation. Navigating on long flights was therefore a tiresome task, and mid-flight meals played a crucial role in keeping the pilots energized and focused on their mission. Perhaps Makina felt some connection to these historical events, but she just had a hankering for sushi. Either way, everyone took their lunches and headed for their posts. Some had more to lose than others. Some were anxious while others were excited, but as they left their base behind, they held the same lunches to their chests and their same determination in their hearts. A certain place, 10. The Ritz-Carlton Hotel, Tokyo. Oh, I think this is Makina. It just so happened that Makina has stayed at one of these hotels before, although it had been in this particular location. Back when her father was still alive, her family had usually spent their summers on the beaches of Miami. And though it was so strange, they always stayed at the local Ritz-Carlton. From what she remembered to the hotel, it had been notable for all these unnervingly well-trained employees whose remarkably attention to detail meant that all the little things you take for granted were always handled perfectly. Bringing her bicycle to a halt on the sidewalk roads, Makina detached the trailer that held her bags and towed it loudly across the lobby. And as she approached the front desk, she reached deep inside herself to call for an innate talent that had supposedly been passed down through the elusive bloodline for generations. Namely, the ability to profoundly irritate people for no good reason at all. With a condescending, blatantly insincere smile of the sort that had become an elusive trademark, she called out to the man standing behind the gleaming counter.
やあ、ごきげんよう。スイーツを予約したイリスだが、部屋の用意はできているかね？
The reception found himself faced with a little girl whose round face homework resembled a cartoon chipmunk. She wasn't wearing or carrying anything that looked particularly expensive. In fact, her outfit looked like someone you could buy from a cheap boutique of that typically found in large malls. In this particular hotel lobby, she stood out like a sore thumb. When you combine all that with the fact that she barked up to the desk and demanded her room in an exceptional not harsh tone, well, 8 out of 10 people would reject the way the receptionist did.
どなたか保護者の方は？
あ？私を誰だと思っている？イリス・キヨカだぞ。こう見えても今年で38だぞ。それとも何か？ガキみたいなやつは客じゃないとでも言うつもりか？おいおいおいおい、嘘だろ。天下のウィッツがまさかの人種差別か？
What the hell is this woman going on about? In only way, what the people of the country the game and went. Makina was shouting out loud, suddenly could be the only figure of someone who provoked an international incident. Understandably now, the statue face went deadly pale.
申し訳ございません、お客様。どうかお気を鎮めてください。
なんだと？このイリス・キヨカに大声を出させてるのは誰だ？
私でございます。申し訳ありません。
すぐに謝るぐらいなら最初から喧嘩を売るな。
Scully Peters, Makina shoved her hand into her pocket and retrieved a neat branded bundle of brand new banknotes, which she proceeded to smack down rudely on the counter in the front of her.
ほれ、支払いは現金だ。多めに払ってやるから、余った金でマナースクールにでも通え、クズが。仕事をしろ、クビにするぞ。なめんな、清くなめんな、このビッチグソ野郎が。
The rest of the variety included quite a number of 3-shot temper introduced. Having learned much of pain for his face, the researcher immediately thought of a little card he always carried this beside the proper mindset of a customer service professional. Think of yourself as a herbivore and your customer is hungry carnivores. As long as you keep that up, you never lose your temper with them. He's been working on this job for 3 years now. He knew how to have it quietly little signs without his customer noticing. With a few taps on the keyboard hidden in front of that, he pulled up the reservation list. Sure that there was a luxury suite reserved in the name of Irisuki and the blinking eyes indicate that she is a VIP client.
イリス様、大変お待たせいたしました。ただいまお部屋へご案内させていただきます。
Yeah, show me the room.
ひよか苦しゅうないぞよ。
The man would nearly snort with the last word as he sat there and pronounced what acceptable, but he managed to discuss his amusement by quickly turning away to call a porter. Hoping to quickly escort this foul-mouthed young princess out of the lobby, the porters hurried over and reached for her luggage.
おい、勝手に触るな。それは仕事道具だ。
They were honestly not telling what was going to set this woman off. Everyone on the staff had been trained to treat the most cumbersome customer with particular care, but right now they just wanted to get her into her room and out of their hair. I don't need you to describe the room. Don't show me the emergency exit. Just tell me where they are. I'm in the Tsukioka. After agonizing 10 minutes, the Tsukioka spent incessantly repeating her own name. The staff was showing her to her room. When you don't want someone asking you lots of questions, what a nuisance, make a nuisance of your sanity and leave you alone. That was something Makina's mother had told her when she was very young. Makina despised her mother intensely, but when it came to manipulating some other people, she had to admit her advice had some merit. After striding into her suit, she immediately kicked out her clerks who hesitated to describe it to her, and then began consuming the small basket of fruit they had left it on the top table as a welcoming gift. It was as if she was particularly hungry. The central table had plenty of surface and it was solid enough to support a person without us shaking. She intended to bring it over to the window and use it as a sniping platform, so she needed a clear of object sitting on top of it. And she reached out to remove it, however, her hands had reflexively brought the fruit to her mouth. Her cheeks bulged with pleasantly tart strawberries. Makina grabbed hold off the table, which was probably nearly as heavy as she was, and dragged it over to the window. After placing a rifle case on top of it, she retrieved her laptop from her bag. The program Shimo Heihei-chan, which quickly calculated the optimal trajectory to a given target based on measurement received from satellite, had recently updated to version 6.04, which enabled it to connect directly to the Tanasu system. The distance to Makina's target would be about 900 meters. The instructor, the legendary sniper Kazami Yuji, could probably have landed a shot like this while leaping through a girly mech. However, Makina had never fired a real rifle before, much less experienced actual combat. For her, a long-range shot like this was an unprecedented challenge. Snapping open the fastener on her case, she spread it out flat on the table and began to remove parts of her rifle from their Velcro restraint. First, she connected to the lower receiver to the bipod assembly, allowing it to stand on its own. Then she placed the semi-auto unit, which contained both the bolt and carrier mechanisms, onto the mounting rail, and covered it up with the upper receiver, which she fixed in place with the mid-lock pin. All very simple. She didn't know how much weight she could put in a gun some old man from a racket shop had put together, but once it was fully assembled, she didn't notice any unpleasant rattling, and the trigger felt nice and tight against her finger. She pulled on the cocking handle to test out the action. The spring in the impact bumper made a grinding sound that suggested it was a bit on the cheap side, but the level of resistance itself felt pretty much perfect.
しかし、この色だけはどうにかならなかったのかね。
Well, Makina, your fault for telling Thanatos that you want pink very much, and you deserve that pink. Makina did like the color pink, and many of her personal possessions with some shadows in it. But when it came to the weapons, it was a flashy, high visible design, basically a handicap. Kazumi probably had claimed you are better off with a rifle that looks like a toy, since intimidate weapons makes it harder to relax and pull the trigger gently. But this really did look like a gun made for moron. Then again, you might take the case that Makina was in fact a moron. She could have denied it with any real confidence.
こんなんでちゃんとやれんのかな。
Inexperience gives rise to uncertainty. According to what Yuji had taught, the maximum range at which you could rely on the power of your rifle and sophistication of your ammunition was about 2,000 meters. Once you get past that point, your level of experience and dumb luck inevitably play a large role. Fortunately, she became fiery as well below 200 meters, and she had top-notch equipment to compensate for her flaws as a sniper, but she wasn't naive enough to assume that everything would go smoothly. When it came to precision sniping at long range, your instincts and training were naturally very important, but you also needed to know exactly how to use the specific gear you'll be given. The slightest misalignment of a high magnification scope will throw you shots off course. A simple spike in the temperature could cause a divergence of anywhere from a few centimeters to several meters. Apart from the wind, you have to be aware of changes in atmospheric pressure, the density of dust particles in the air, the rotation speed of your bullet, and the attack bearing it will follow. Even the combustion speed of the powder in your bullet needed to be incorporated into your calculations. And no matter how truthfully you inputted all this information, it was still very rare for your bullets to land exactly where you anticipated they would. At a distance of 1000 meters from your target, you will typically be off by a few meters at first.
それを経験と勘で補うのがプロの仕事か。
Wow, there is a big scope. But Makina wasn't a pro, and according to Kazama Yuji, that meant she had to rely on the power of her equipment. Settling her now absolutely right on the table, she placed an optical equipment with an electronic damper in position on the top of it, and attached it via the mounted to the resist, carefully adjusting the level of vacuum. Once it was fixed in place, she used the custom jig or gizzer from the racket strike, giving her to verify that she attached it at the correct angle and position. This will guarantee it performed just as they intended to it.
用意された弾丸は6発。
They were starting to complain about how stingy Thanatos had been, but that would be remotely fair. Every one of these cartridges was essentially handmade. Both the rapid combination powder and the hard primers inside that had been specifically formulated based on their anticipated range. The bullets themselves had been polished and then blasted by a this futile particle, forming a special coating that would be fused to the surface of the project, guided by the heat that generated when they fired. Once more, the oil had actually cut several grooves into them that aligned perfectly with the rifle of the barrel, and this would supposedly generate additional propulsive power from the very air the bullets would be cutting through in flight. In short, every single one of these rounds was a tiny letter work of art. The writing, the written instructions the old man had handed her strongly emphasized that she wasn't to touch the bullet with her bare hands. And every one of them had been packed with an individual plastic bag filled with inert gas in order to prevent oxidation.
鉄砲屋もいろんなことを考えつくもんなのよさ。
Yes, Makina, yes.
これで当たんなかったら私がヘボってことになっちゃうか。
Rather than racking her brains over the task at hand, she would have preferred to fire off a few shots to get a real provide, but that wasn't an option. She had no choice to wait until the last possible moment to test fire and zero her rifle. With the weapon now fully assembled, she fixed in the position of the bipod. She left the bullets sealed away with their airtight package. She wasn't planning on loading them into a magazine anyway. Why risk contacting with the rim of the chamber at the tip of the rounds? This thing was a real semi-automatic. Might as well load every round manually.
さて、んじゃ、ちょっくら出かけてくっかね。
For now, she wanted to focus on that end. All that was an inspection of the target area and the installation of her monitor equipment. Opening out her backpack, she packed a few wind guards which would beam their data for her via satellite. They added an old-fashioned analog to a rolled plastic bag. There were two potential lines of fire to account for, and it was practical to cover both with nothing but expensive digital devices. She decided to work around by leaving lengths of rope tied up at the halfway points between her gauge. That way she could at least look through her scope to get a visual sense of the way the wind was moving. Once everything was in place, she spent the rest of the afternoon leisure riding her bike around the target areas. Actually, when we are given area gives you a very different feel for it than peering it through the scopes of your rifle, and that difference in perception can seriously affect your accuracy. Maki had learned that much while stimulating ultra-long-range precision sniping with a air rifle under the instruction of Kazami Yuji. When you want to hit a target no bigger than a speck, even when observed through a high magnification lens, this sort of simple sculpture's preparation was the single most crucial factor in ensuring your success. A certain place. Back in the day, motor vehicles came equipped with a warning system that would play a sound when the driver exceeds a set speed. Sometimes this would be a tiny electronic beep or arithmetical chime. This is Amane Michiro, I guess? A few even tinker carefully at you, like a bear carried by a Buddhism pilgrim. Those alarms were mostly a thing of the past. The Carbonet was presenting driver, however, had organic warning system, one to produce rather less pleasant sound. Its names, the Matsushima Speed Alarm System. This was an extremely sensitive system prone to activate at the drop of a hat. For example, say that the car in front of you turned at the intersection. Simply pushing down the accelerator to close the open space on the road would be enough to trigger the alarm. But if you were merely speed out to keep the pace with the rest of the traffic, you'd still be treated to a nausea to call the sort of fear. The only way for Amani to avoid this was to position a vehicle with the utmost care, avoid any sudden movement or shift momentum. It was, to be perfectly honest, a real pain in the butt.
まあね、一度でも人の運転する車でひどい目に遭うとそうなるのはわかるし、その原因を作ったのは私なんだけどさ、この車なら荷台から落ちることもないんだし、こうして普通に運転しててもケポケポしちゃうのはどうにかならないかな。
無理。なんかこう頭で分かってても体が逃げ出そうとするのよ。
つうかさ、あの荷台から落ちた時だって他の荷物は落ちなかったのに、なんであんただけ落ちたの？
わかんない。荷台の上に立ってたからかも。前を見てたらふっと気が抜けたっていうか。
ああ、なんかわかる気がする。
She's already got a drug on the speed. It doesn't really happen when you're inside the car, but if you spend too long tearing down the highway on the motorcycle or something, it can do funny things to your brain. When you move at a high speed for an extended period of time, the road ahead starts to grow strangely vivid, and it almost feels like the world around you is frozen in place. It might sound ridiculous, but Amani had personally experienced a powerful urge to step off her fast-moving motorcycle on the road.
なんだろう、子供が回ってる扇風機に指を突っ込みたくなるような感覚？そういうの何現象っていうのかな？
知らないわよ。とにかく安全運転でお願い。
Oops. The best way to prevent car sickness is usually to look in the same direction as the driver. Allow your body to anticipate the movements of the car. But in Michiru's case, it just didn't seem to be doing much good whatsoever. Oops. But in Michiru's case, it just didn't seem to be doing much whatsoever. Amani didn't have much choice but to move along the slowly, carefully, trying to minimize any kind of shaking motion. Delicately manipulated the brake and throttled. She tried to keep the car weight even distributed across all four of his tires, pretending that she was winding her way up an icy mountain road covered in salt. The drive took a bit longer than it otherwise would have, but eventually Higashi Nagasaki said she came to view that was where she'd be dropping off Michiru.
もうすぐ着くよ。っていうか、あんた一人で大丈夫なの？
何が？
何がって、あんたこれからユージの会社の人に会ってユージの荷物を受け取ってくるんだよ。よく知りもしない相手だし、一人で怖くないの？
まあ全く不安がないわけじゃないけど、よく知らない人と取引するのにはもういい加減慣れたわよ。少なくとも日本語は通じる相手だろうし。
あんたってさ、なんかそういうとこすごいよね。この前の牛連れたおばちゃんとかさ、知らない人に平気で声かけるし。
私はね、嫌われる前に嫌われるようなツンデレはしないのよ。常に相手より先に嫌うには先制攻撃よ。わかる？
全然わかんないけど、なんだか強気だなぁとは思う。
つまりそういうことよ。
ごめん、本気でわかんない。あんたってさ、自分の頭の中で出た結論を人に伝えるの本当にへったくそだよね。
そうよね。だからうまくいくんだってタナトスさんは言ってたんだからね。
まあわかるけどさ。
Take it to a certain extreme, stupidity can become charming in the way you find him with the pet adorable. Of course, the idea of pets was a uniquely human concept, wasn't it? Perhaps there was something in the genes handed down from the days when our ancestors lived in the trees that quietly compelled us to protect creatures like Matsushima Michiru. Finally, despite quietly, Amane watched her as a friend climb out of the car, bid her a cheerful goodbye and waddled off bow-legged down the street.
さて、それじゃあ私も車受け取りに行ってくるか。
Retrieving the match she made herself last night, Amane tossed it onto the passenger seat, Michiru had been prepared and glanced over it. Her new vehicle was waiting in the parking garage of a shopping center in Itabashi. She knew the place had large popular movie theater inside. In the period just after the disaster, when every moment she spent in the school that had been pure torture, she once skipped a day and watched a movie there. Fortunately, she was really quite tall by then, so she didn't really look like a truant student in her everyday clothes. What was the movie I saw again? The title wasn't coming to mind. She seemed to remember it was a western film, starring some famous actor in the role of a street racer. At first, she hadn't even been planning to see a movie. She just got it on the train and let it carry her along. And after a bit of aimless wandering, she happened to find herself in front of the theater. There wasn't anything she particularly wanted to see. But after heading inside to kill some time, she soon found herself buying a ticket for a car movie anyway. Somehow or another, automobile always seems to find their ways into. I wonder what this new car gonna be like. After the rescue, Yuji will need to carry him, Amane, Michiru, Makina, and Sachi. So at the very least, they needed space for 5 people. Obviously, that meant it will be a 2-seater sports car. From what Thanatos had said, they were dealing with an armed soldier, and there was a possibility that they got under attack. Maybe it would be a thick, sturdy vehicle. Then again, she described as a lightweight, so a clunky hunt or armor we didn't see particularly likely. Thanatos claimed to have taken her preference into account, but who knew what that meant? But in any case, once somebody switched over to a new vehicle, she had to say goodbye to the lovely cross for she was currently driving. That was a bit of a bummer. They hadn't been together for long, but this guy had served her well. It was a pity she didn't have time to give him a courtesy run through the car wash. Sorry about that, and thanks for everything. Tapping her finger fondly on the steering wheel, Amane made sure to express her gratitude as well as her regrets. Not long after passing the local station vehicle, the shopping center came into view. Approaching the parking garage, Amane poked her car's nose up to the gate, rolled down her window, and grabbed a ticket from the machine. Once inside, she guided the cross for up the spiraling slope, ignoring the grinding of a medical LSD. And after reaching the 5th level, she fully nearly to the first available space. All she had to do was to leave it here with the key in the ignition somewhere behind to pick it up and take it back to the rental company. While it felt a bit awkward to leave the car sitting there unlocked, a top manager was finding the parking spot marked 12. Presumably the new car had also been left unlocked for her. She was a bit nervous someone might have stolen it. The spot Amane had parked in was 38. After oriented herself, she headed down towards the lower number. As she walked past spot 25, 24, the Thanatos phone in her pocket suddenly began to vibrate.
何これ。
When Amane retrieved the phone from her pocket, she found a message reading register vehicle within 20 meters on the screen with a button below it marked identity.
押すの？
Identified? Couldn't hurt to give it a try, right? When she tapped the button, something nearby let out a cute to see little beep beep. Looking in the direction of the sun, she noticed a vehicle about 20 meters away that was flashing its hazard light to inform her of its location.
そう、特捜車ってまさかこれ？
Thanatos had described it as light, fast, and easy to drive. To be sure, this met all of those criteria. Not least, the vehicle sitting dimly in the spot 12 was basically the last thing Amane had expected to find there. What's so special about this thing? Walking out to her new ride, Amane began to more truthfully inspections. First, she circled around it and observed it from multiple angles. After a bit of throttling, tapping, and pushing at the frame, she squatted down to get a better look at the tires. At the very least, this wasn't a standard model that much was clear enough, but she couldn't help feeling more than a little let down. In fact, her current emotions were best expressed by the phrase, "What the heck, man?" Still, there wasn't much point complaining. No matter what kind of a car she was given, Amanda's job was to drive it according to her orders. Sliding into the driver's seat, she breathed in large of new customer and brought her hands to the wheels. For some reason, her hands had comfortable and slipping her feet into a familiar pair of shoes. With a twist of a key already sitting in the ignition, she tried starting the car. After a momentary pause, it rumbles to life. From the sound of things, it had a high compression engine. The grumbly crunchy sound it emitted while idling was a bit like a growl of a lion. To Amanda's ear, it suggested a certain fierceness. She didn't trust aftermarket temperature guards, but they were good enough for rough estimates. Watching as the needle rose slowly towards 65 degrees, she gently shifted into first gear and released the clutch. There was more torque in the low gears than she expected. They might have increased the engine displacement. As she slowly eased the car forward, all the displeasure she felt only moments before melted away in an instant. And its place excited bubble up irrepressible within her. It was immediately obvious this really was a special vehicle. Struggled with the temptation to find some place where she could play along with her shiny little Amanda turned the wheel and set off to a random verse with Michiru. A certain place again. Now then, as for Komine Sachi and the episode, maybe we're gonna see Sachi and
セーブするわ。
Yumiko in the next episode. The operation comments 2. Wow, you already start 2. How many we have comments? We don't know. Adios e famosa.